Hey Raiders fans, we're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. That way, you'll always stay up to date with breaking news and exclusive content. Chris Jones has officially cemented his place as the cornerstone of the Las Vegas Raiders defensive line after signing what can only be described as a monumental contract, sending ripples across the NFL and leaving fans and analysts alike in a state of excitement, speculation, and anticipation. The move is not just a financial statement. It is a clear declaration that the Raiders are serious about reshaping their defensive identity and establishing a fortress that opponents will struggle to penetrate. From the moment Jones stepped onto the field last season, it was clear that his presence was transformative, elevating the performance of everyone around him, demanding double teams, and creating opportunities for teammates to make game-changing plays. His technique, strength, and agility have been consistently praised, and now, with the security of a long-term deal, the Raiders can build around him with confidence. The buzz around the NFL landscape is palpable as rival teams begin to rethink their strategies against a defensive line that now has a veritable anchor in Jones. This contract signals that the Raiders are no longer content with incremental improvements, but are aiming for dominance, hoping that Jones' leadership and on-field impact will translate into wins, playoff appearances, and perhaps a renewed sense of respectability in the league. The excitement surrounding Chris Jones' contract is compounded by the timing, as it comes at a moment when the Raiders are making strategic moves across the roster, blending youth, experience, and high-profile signings. Analysts are dissecting every detail of the deal, from guaranteed money to incentives tied to performance metrics, while fans flood social media with reactions ranging from elation to cautious optimism. Jones' influence on the team extends beyond his sack totals or tackle statistics. His mere presence shifts the dynamics of games, forcing offenses to adjust blocking schemes and altering the flow of matchups in ways that are subtle yet devastating. Conversations around Las Vegas now revolve around defensive schemes, front seven chemistry, and the psychological edge that comes from knowing one of the most dominant interior linemen in the NFL is patrolling the trenches. For the Raiders, this is more than a signing. It's a statement of intent, a signal to the league that they are serious about competing at the highest level. As the season approaches, all eyes will be on Jones to see if he can maintain the elite performance that warranted this landmark contract. Rival teams are already calculating the cost of facing a revitalized Raiders defensive line anchored by Chris Jones, knowing that game plans must adapt to the threat he poses. Every offensive coordinator in the league is aware that a player of his caliber can alter the trajectory of a game in a single snap, whether through a sack, a tackle for loss, or a forced turnover. The Raiders' strategy seems clear: leverage Jones' dominance to create opportunities for the linebackers and secondary, turning the defense into a well-oiled machine capable of stifling any opponent. Jones himself has spoken in past interviews about his desire to win, to lead, and to make a lasting impact, and this contract gives him the platform to do exactly that without the distraction of short-term uncertainties. The narrative in the locker room is shifting as teammates now see the organization's commitment to building around elite talent. Rumors swirl about how this signing might influence future acquisitions, with speculations that other defensive talents could be attracted to the Raiders' vision of a championship contending squad. The NFL world is buzzing, analysts are debating, and fans are dreaming as Chris Jones' new chapter in Las Vegas begins in earnest, promising drama, dominance, and unforgettable moments on the gridiron. The market value of elite defensive tackles has never been more apparent than with Chris Jones signing, and the ripple effect across the league cannot be overstated. Teams are reassessing contracts, evaluating draft strategies, and considering trades as the precedent set by Jones' deal recalibrates expectations for top-tier defensive talent. The Raiders have effectively positioned themselves as a destination for players who want to be part of a revitalized, ambitious franchise, signaling that the front office is willing to invest in excellence. Media narratives are already painting Jones as the face of the defense, someone who embodies both the physical and psychological intensity needed to thrive in high-pressure matchups. His ability to disrupt plays, command attention from offensive lines, and anchor the defensive line cannot be understated. Conversations in analyst circles now revolve around how the Raiders' defense will perform with Jones at its core, whether his presence can inspire consistency across all units, and if this move will ultimately translate to postseason success. Fans are envisioning dominant games, highlight reel moments, and a defense that makes opponents fear every snap, all anchored by Chris Jones. The buzz is undeniable, the expectations immense, and the narrative surrounding the Raiders has been irrevocably altered by this singular, high-profile signing. Speculation continues to mount around how this signing will influence the Raiders' approach to the upcoming season, with coaches already planning schemes that maximize Jones' strengths while fostering cohesion across the defensive front. The strategic implications are significant, as opponents must now consider new blocking assignments, anticipate pressure up the middle, and adjust quarterback reads to counteract Jones' disruptive capabilities. The locker room atmosphere is reportedly electric, with younger players energized by the opportunity to learn from and play alongside one of the NFL's most formidable interior linemen. Analysts are debating the ripple effect this could have on the Raiders' overall performance metrics, including third down efficiency, red zone stops, and turnover generation. Social media buzz is relentless, with fans dissecting interviews, training footage, and contract details, creating a sense of communal excitement that transcends typical team enthusiasm. The narrative of Chris Jones in Las Vegas is evolving into something larger than statistics, a story about leadership, ambition, and the impact of one transformative player on a franchise seeking legitimacy and long-term success. Every preseason highlight and strategic adjustment is now viewed through the lens of Jones' presence, making him not just a player, but a symbol of the Raiders' renewed aspirations and the centerpiece of a defensive revolution. Finally, the larger context of this signing highlights the Raiders' commitment to redefining their identity in the league, with Chris Jones serving as both a catalyst and a benchmark for future success. The implications stretch beyond the defensive line, influencing team culture, player recruitment, and fan engagement, as the franchise signals a willingness to invest heavily in elite talent to achieve sustained competitiveness. Media narratives are already framing Jones as the linchpin of a potentially dominant defense, while betting markets and fantasy discussions incorporate his influence into projections for team performance. The excitement surrounding his presence fuels optimism, but also invites scrutiny, as expectations for consistency, leadership, and peak performance will be immense. Rumors continue to swirl about how this signing might trigger additional acquisitions, inspire coaching adjustments, or affect the Raiders' positioning in a highly competitive division. Ultimately, the signing of Chris Jones represents more than a contract. It is a narrative pivot, a storyline ripe with drama, speculation, and anticipation, ensuring that the Raiders' defensive line, and indeed the entire franchise, will be the focus of intense attention, debate, and excitement in the months leading up to the season. As the chatter around Chris Jones' monumental contract continues to reverberate throughout the NFL, insiders and analysts alike are speculating on the cascading effects this deal could have on the Raiders' defensive strategy and overall team morale, creating an atmosphere thick with anticipation and conjecture. Every training session, every off-season workout, and every media appearance now carries a heightened sense of scrutiny, as fans and pundits alike are eager to see how Jones' presence will translate into tangible improvements on the field. There are whispers about how his leadership might impact locker room dynamics, with younger players reportedly energized and motivated to elevate their own performances to match the intensity and professionalism of a veteran of Jones' caliber. Moreover, the conversations extend beyond the Raiders' own preparations, as opposing teams are forced to rethink offensive line schemes, quarterback decision-making, and play-calling strategies to mitigate the disruptive force Jones represents. Social media platforms are ablaze with discussions, debates, and highlight compilations that underline the growing consensus. The Raiders' defensive line, anchored by Chris Jones, is poised to become a focal point of every game, every broadcast, and every analyst discussion throughout the upcoming season, heightening both excitement and expectations. The narrative surrounding this signing has taken on almost mythical proportions, blending performance, leadership, and influence into a singular storyline that captivates the imagination of fans and rivals alike. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors surrounding potential ripple effect from Chris Jones' contract have begun to dominate not just sports talk shows, but private discussions among coaches, scouts, and general managers across the league, as everyone tries to quantify the strategic and psychological implications of facing a defense anchored by a player of his magnitude. Speculation has intensified around the possibility that this signing could attract additional high-caliber defensive talent to the Raiders, creating a magnet effect where elite players view Las Vegas as a destination for both opportunity and ambition. Analysts are dissecting every potential matchup, considering how opposing offenses might need to alter their blocking schemes, double-team strategies, and even quarterback reads in order to navigate the disruption Jones inevitably brings. Meanwhile, the Raiders themselves are reportedly excited by the potential to build a cohesive, dominant front seven around him, leveraging his presence to improve performance metrics across the board, from run-stopping efficiency to sack totals and turnover generation. The buzz surrounding this signing has reached a fever pitch, with fans eagerly speculating about highlight reel plays, critical in-game adjustments, and the ways in which Jones' influence could shift the narrative of the season. Social media commentary, insider leaks, and fan forums all contribute to a sense of ongoing anticipation and intrigue, creating a storyline that feels larger than football itself. In the locker room, the impact of Chris Jones' signing is being felt in subtle yet powerful ways, as teammates respond to the security, commitment, and talent represented by the deal, creating a culture that emphasizes accountability, preparation, and elite performance. Younger players, in particular, are reportedly motivated to absorb every lesson from Jones, from technique and conditioning to mental approach and situational awareness, recognizing the opportunity to learn from someone who has consistently performed at the highest level of the sport. The coaching staff, in turn, appears energized by the chance to design schemes that capitalize on Jones' unique abilities, considering creative alignments, pressure packages, and defensive rotations designed to maximize disruption while maintaining team balance. Across the league, opposing coordinators are reportedly drafting game plans with Jones' presence in mind, aware that ignoring his capabilities could result in devastating consequences. Analysts and fans speculate endlessly about potential matchups, sacks, and turnovers, contributing to an almost cinematic narrative that frames every Raiders game as a battle defined by his influence. The excitement is palpable, the anticipation relentless, and the conversations swirling around Chris Jones' contract continue to dominate headlines, forums, and broadcasts, solidifying the idea that his presence is as much a strategic force as it is a symbolic statement about the Raiders' intentions. The financial and strategic implications of Chris Jones' deal extend far beyond Las Vegas, as rival franchises begin recalibrating their own defensive priorities, contracts, and draft strategies in response to the precedent set by such a high-profile acquisition. Analysts debate whether this could spark a trend in the league where elite defensive tackles demand not only top-tier compensation, but also a central role in shaping team identity and scheme. The Raiders' front office, meanwhile, has effectively positioned itself as a franchise willing to invest in dominance, sending a clear message that talent retention, leadership, and long-term competitiveness are paramount priorities. Rumors are already circulating about potential future signings, trade opportunities, and draft maneuvers that could complement Jones' presence, enhancing the Raiders' defensive depth and creating a holistic strategy for sustained success. Fans are enthralled by the narrative, envisioning games defined by dominant line play, high-impact stops, and momentum-shifting plays that revolve around Jones' ability to control the interior line. Media coverage emphasizes not just performance, but storylines, speculation, and potential, portraying Jones as both an individual star and the nucleus of a larger transformation, creating an ongoing conversation that extends far beyond the confines of a single season. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.